All right, so I've had a few failed takes at a video explaining the last couple of days. So I'm trying again. Um, I got the PCM in, put the PCM into the car. The car still didn't start. We determined it was still doing a no spark again. I came into work in some odd circumstances the other day. Tuesday morning, the guy that had been giving me rides to and from work for my dish shift's house caught fire, and he wasn't able to work. He hasn't been able to the last couple of days. Um, so the boss picked me up, and we had to stop at his house for a minute and picked up some. I was bringing my jump charger, and so he brought his plug-in charger and an extra battery, and there was just some indications maybe the battery was bad. But try some different things, and um, while I did dishes, my employer put the got under the hood of the car and messed around with a bunch of stuff. Started YouTubing himself, going on his own hunches on things, and found a thing to look for. It was on one of these. This hot pink wire here. This may not seem like it is, but trust me, that's a pink wire. That is the ground. And when the ground is bad and it overheats and overcharges or it arcs between because the connection's bad or whatever, this whole thing here gets scorched. The plastic gets burnt, and on the inside of the thing it plugs into, this also gets scorched and burnt. And this was the case on my car. This one is in case the plug-in, since we couldn't get a whole harness, um, was in case that one being scorched ends up not working and I have to swap out, I have one. After that, I was able to start the car. Um, After that, I did not take the battery off the terminal or anything. I was like, it's running. I want to get it home. It ended up dying on me a couple of times. I ended up disconnecting the battery. Called the boss. He came up because I was going to need some help pushing the car into the spot if it wouldn't start. I was like in the parking lot of my credit union to check my bank balance regarding my utility bill that's coming up. And so he showed up. He had the dielectric grease that we had forgotten to put onto the plug anyway. So we took that off, put the grease on it, plugged it in, checked on a few things, reset the battery. The car started. The car has run fine since. I'm not feeling like I'm out of the woods or anything like that. And there's a whole other rant to do with that. Um, so I was able to drive today. Everything is very tentative because the never know, something else may also be wrong. Um, I will say that this was something that before the advent of online searching and purchasability being as mainstream and trustworthy as it is now, this was a time to get a new car thing as far as like my folks were concerned. If they were the ones helping finance or co-sign a loan or anything else, helping to pay for repairs or whatever, we would get to a point where it needed a new computer and it was going to be such a hassle, which I very nearly encountered before being able to order one online that had the pre-flashed VIN number on it. That was not a thing that was available back in the day. This is now something that other people than just authorized dealerships can do. So then ended up needing a new ignition module, which the boss diagnosed and replaced. Um, Having been burnt up on the inside, that was the problem. Um, but in the past times that I've dealt with things that ultimately led to a bad PCM that meant junking the car because it was going to be too much of a hassle, was the PCM would be the next thing to fail after replacing these other components. It would have been the next thing to fail. It was already showing obvious signs of failure. So that's been replaced as well. I've got my mind on a few things that hopefully won't be an issue, but there's a couple other modules yet that we're going to hope that they don't fail. Um, but I'm aware of them, so that's good. I want to give a shout out and extra special thanks to Anthony for donating $50 to the cause. What that did was put me in my bank account to where I won't bounce if I try and pay my electricity bill. Here by tomorrow, it should be deposited because I use the free 3-day thing on PayPal. Um, that will be fortifying my ability to pay my utilities. So thank you for that very, very much. That helps a lot. Yeah, it's been an interesting few days. I'm trying to enjoy things all the same. I'm trying to remain positive and not be, fearful of yet another collapse or something. But at the same time, I am not free from the bondage yet. I am not out of the woods. I am not home free. The obstacles have yet to be fully cleared from the path, or possibly cleared at all. I'm just getting back on my feet, which sucks. I've been able to have some good time. It was a nice sabbatical out here, but I got bills to pay. I got needs that need met. And sitting around is about the closest thing to not spending money that I can do, but I need to be earning it, not just not spending it. Let's talk about that haze, though. It is coming from south and from north. There are now fires in America as well that are contributing to the cloud cover of smoke. Today, if you've seen the community posts or the short that I put up with the two videos joined together, it may be difficult to see on those if you zoom them in, because unfortunately phones are not meant to capture that kind of detail. And there's so much light going on, even dimming it all down is overwhelming to the system. With the haze as a filter in the sky, it was fully possible to see the gargantuan single sunspot slightly north of the equator and just to the right of center. It was, how do I put this? Do you see that dimple? That's how big it is. Now it's actually kind of up here and a little bit over, but well, I suppose for your view it'll be like that. But it's right about here, and even in the super zoom in of the still photos of it, there is just a little area that you can see. It's almost like there's just extra pixeling there that is right where the thing is. But it's freaking that big. It's a little black dot on the sun. That's my soul up there, right? But you can see it just looking at the sun near dusk through that haze. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I never thought I would see a sunspot with the naked eye. But yeah, the sky's doing some really weird shit. The smoke messes with the air pressure. It messes with a lot of things. It messes with the weather. I'm going to go kind of out on a limb here and say that nobody else is really talking too much about it, because I think everybody just doesn't want to end up being proven wrong or some kind of conspiro nut or whatever, but weather warfare is a thing. And I can say factually that there is military presence of an adversarial nation to the United States camped out just across the border in Canada in those woods where the fires are happening. The fires all started precisely the same time at different locations, and they have been allowed to spread uncontrollably. The result is an enormous amount of particulate air pollution blanketing the United States, specifically where these fires are, where the jet stream is, brings all that smoke right down to us. To where here in Iowa, where none of the smoke from the fires is blowing at where I'm at, the shit that is in the sky now is what is dangled down after having been up in the air over like New York and DC 2 weeks ago. And the sky was turning that same kind of like dingy, almost brown. The sun was going down. And we had sunset level illumination an hour before sundown. And by the time it was time for the sun to go down, it was just fading into the mist before it even hit the horizon. It's a bad situation out there. I don't know how long the fires can last, but I would anticipate that our summer is going to be smoggy, cloggy, nasty with this haze. And I think this is just the beginning. That's what I think. But I'm not saying there's like space lasers causing tornadoes or whatever, anything like that. But certainly the interference with the water cycle, with the weather on this continent, interferes with our agriculture, which interferes with our food supply, makes us dependent on anyone else who is somehow able to grow food in sufficient amounts for people to eat. For example, a large country that happens to be adversarial to us, who also happens to have significant military presence camped out just across the border in the woods, where those fires all started in different places all at exactly the same time. This is next gen warfare. And we are, in that sense, I believe, directly under attack. There are not soldiers on the ground here in our country, but this smoke rolling over us is some shit straight out of the Lord of the Rings. Oh, this different. No. Understand. A guy who fought in World War II wrote that book. And what the bad guy does is he spreads a dark cloud of volcanic soot and ash that mars the sky and kind of makes everybody a little weary, because it's like, when you go outside and you see it, it's a reminder. It's literally hanging over us. So I believe that concludes this video. I've got many days of work ahead of me, and I've got a lot of catching up to do. And like I said, nothing's fixed. Nothing's better. It's not, everything's okay now. It's not like that. Nothing's over. I am not out of the woods. My path is not cleared. Abundance and ease have not manifested for me. Therefore, I am not finished. This is not finished. It's going to keep being whatever it is, whether it changes modes or whether it keeps throwing the same stupid crap at me over and over repetitively. I don't know. But in no way, shape, or form am I going to declare pridefully, hubristically, that everything is just hunky-dunk and better now. I could be going for another 9 weeks without a single incident, and I will still be assuming that something's about to happen. So, enjoy your weird Mordor summer. Also, check out, I got another Area 51 run. I got interrupted a couple times, but still managed to over 400,000 score on one credit. And also, I've got some videos of the Nightshade, and the other one was taking a picture of the sun. But yeah, I've got stuff coming out eventually here. I've got lots of plants growing this time of the summer. Typically is really cool for a lot of stuff. The other thing is that some of these plants I think are going to think it's fall already, and that may mean that the trees may lose their leaves early, or like I've got lilies coming out that I don't think should be coming out this time of year. As well as a lot of plants go into seed that I wouldn't typically expect to go to seed just at the start of summer. Yeah, it is what it is. You better stay frosty. You better stay strapped. Everybody have a good one.